What's up? What's up? How y'all doing, everybody? Christian friends. Just doing what I normally should have been doing, which is just coming up and giving a word, which why I call it my pop-up Bible studies, because I'm just popping up, popping on. No specific time, nothing set. It's just if it's just something I want to talk about and get off my chest, or maybe my spirit is prompting me to do it. So that's why I have the urgency to do it. And then sometimes it's literally because I just want to talk and get it out and have somebody to talk to, have somebody to share my journey with and be transparent about my journey. So, instead of me just putting in where this is something that is scheduled. Nope, it is just popping up and popping on, but I got to do better. Because this was something I was supposed to do consistently, but it's been sparingly instead of, doing it more consistent. It's becoming more sparingly. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to just have a word today, just kind of to encourage folks, my believers, entrepreneurs and people, single moms, just people who are just family believers. Because, like the word says, pray for everyone, pray at all times and in the spirit, and pray for our believers everywhere, because they're going through the same things. So I just thought about it, like I was kind of having a rough moment earlier today, and, I was shedding some tears, and it was just where I just was feeling down and defeated. But then I had to also say, I'm not nobody special that I'm the only one going through this. I had to remember the word, where the word says that, because your family of believers all across the world are going through the same things. So I was like, I'm not the only one. So, hey, let me, of course, let me work through my emotion, because we don't want to ever elude or feel like we can try to avoid feeling the way that we feel. Those are valid feelings. It may not result or yield the best results when you feel that way, but that comes with growth. But you definitely don't want to ever try to escape your feelings or escape how you're feeling. So if you're going through rough patches in your life, it's okay to try to feel through it, go through it, and just say, hey, you know what? Evaluate your emotions, evaluate what you're thinking. And then that way you can work through it. But don't allow whatever your emotions are to lead to negative outcomes, or you taking negative actions, right? So like if you're angry, if you're feeling even a bit resentful, or just feeling hurt, down, disappointed, that's natural, and it's okay to feel that way. But anyway, I just had a moment earlier working from home, because I'm still on my 9 to 5, and I'm still believing God as I'm moving forward, trying to pursue working out in my journey and pursuing my calling. I'm still working a 9 to 5 job. So sometimes I have a lot of defeating moments where I'm just like, man, it don't seem like I'm not getting anywhere. It seems like I've hit a brick wall. It seems like I'm plateauing. I'm not elevating. And it's like, I know it's more that I should be doing. I'm called to do higher, but it's like, am I getting anywhere, God? So I just had one of those moments earlier where I was crying. And so I had said, you know what, in this moment, while I'm crying and while I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, I am going to drop down to my knees and pray and still praise God through these moments. So that's what this pop-up shop is about, to encourage you that yes, you will indeed have these many trials and tests and temptations and everything. And you're going to have these moments where emotionally you're going to go through it, because you may just be feeling like you're not where you want to be in life. You just may not be happy. You may not be in that season in your life where you feel like you're waking up every day doing exactly what you want to be doing. You're just loving life. You're enjoying life and seeing many happy days. Well, for many of believers like myself, it's not there yet. You're not where you want to be. Now you can recognize that you're not where you was, but you still know you're not where you want to be. So when you're in that in between, man, it's rough. I'm going to tell you. And I'm just coming on to be transparent, having this word so I can encourage you, because it was rough for me early, and I just cried for a little minute. But in that moment, I said, I'm going to drop down to my knees and just have a talk with God, to first let God know how I'm feeling, because that's another thing. Of course, God knows everything. He sees everything. He knows all and he sees all. But he want to know that you have to rely on him. So in those moments when you thinking, oh, I can get through this, I can do this. Yes, you got to push through, and you got to fight that good fight and keep on keeping on. But you still need the help of the Lord. You still need to communicate with God and communicate that to him. Communicate your emotions and feelings so that he can help and bring you through it. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to encourage my family believers that, man, when you're going through those rough seasons, you could be in that season right now when you're waiting season. You're still being perfected and prepared. So that season can hurt. That season can be a disappointing season. It's a dry season where you're doing a lot of waiting. It can be defeating because that's in that season where you are ready to compare yourself to others and looking at other people's stories and stuff like that. And man, this media ain't no joke, boy. Social media, can be a barn burner sometimes, because that's the first thing we resort to when we want to look at other people's stories and see what they got going on. Because I can say that I've been doing that myself sometimes, and I have to kind of tell myself, look, this is not what instead you need to resort to God. God need to be your first seeker. You need to seek God first. Seek first the kingdom, right? Instead of going to social media first to try to get that excitement, or to get that motivation, or to get that affirmation that you might just be looking for subconsciously. You're just looking for approval. And the first thing we want to do is go to social media, and then we find ourselves comparing ourselves when we do that. And we might be setting ourselves up for a more emotional spiral, because when we see other people, and it is okay to look at other people's success stories, and see what other people got going on to motivate you. So it's definitely okay to do that. So I'm not saying that it's wrong when we are following other people and looking at their journeys, but we need to intentionally know, like, okay, it is for motivational purposes. But when we find ourselves doing it because we are already in an emotional spiral, and now we're looking at other people's success stories, and you find yourself crying, or you find yourself in a deeper pit, you feel even more discouraged or defeated, like, man, why this? Okay, you need to pull away from, you need to abstain from these social media outlets and things like that, because it's not benefiting you, right? So when you're training to be godly, family believers, where the word says, instead train yourselves to be godly. For training for godliness, physical training is good, but training to be godly is better, because it promises you benefits in this life and in the life to come. So if we understand about training to be godly, man, training ain't cool. Training ain't fun. Nobody really wants to train. Sometimes it's days where you just don't feel like it. You're not going to feel your best, and you got to push through it. So it's the same thing with training your spirit, training yourself to elevate and be your best self, right? So when it says train to be godly, that means you got to push through those hard times, through those temptations, where the word even says, the Lord blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. So you're enduring when you're training. You're dealing with what training feels like. It's not fun. Sometimes it's intense, or training can be boring. So I just wanted to encourage, though, because it's definitely those moments where you just look back from one day to the next. You feeling good one day, you're like, I got this, I can do this. And again, sometimes you feel like you're thinking it's all you. And yes, you play a big role in it, but the source plays the biggest role in how you move forward, because God wants us to know that we need to rely on him, right? So that's why it says my grace is sufficient enough for you. Because see, when we thinking we can do everything in our own human effort, that's when we fail. That's when we get the most disappointed, because we've trusted in ourselves. Which is okay to believe in yourself, but again, trust in the Lord first. Seek first God. And then he will provide you everything. He will seek first the kingdom, seek first his kingdom, and he will add everything to you. He will provide you. His grace is sufficient. And I'm saying this to myself because I just have so many moments where I'm doing okay, and then the next minute I'm down again, and man, when is it going to happen? I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I feel like and I had to have this talk again today with God, but I'm thankful that the Lord is revealing to me that I'm better than I was. Because before, when I was going through these emotional roller coasters, right, because I'm in that season where I'm in my in-between, I feel like I'm just plateauing, and I just lately, and because I'm believing God for some things, I'm pursuing some things, I'm actuating, I'm putting into action of doing the good deeds to make my faith complete. Because yes, I have a calling, and I'm out there and I'm carrying out my calling. I'm putting in work, but then when it seems like I'm still not where I want to be yet, it's still like I have not gotten to my destination yet, my unique destiny. I'm not even there. I sometimes just feel like, God, am I getting anywhere? Sometimes I feel like it's still a cloudy road. It still feels like a lonely road. It still feels like the work that I'm doing is not enough, because why am I not getting there yet? What is taking so long? So, all of those things hit your emotions and hit your thoughts and everything when you're going through those seasons. So I'm just encouraging that even in that, you got to praise through it. You got to still seek God, pray to God, and talk to God about your feelings so that he can help you work through it. His grace will be sufficient enough through it. So I wanted to share a word from the book of Psalms, where oh goodness, where is it at? Where, the word says, my confidence is this: I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. So that was the book of Psalms, 27, the 27th book of Psalms, verse 13 and 14. Yeah. So I wanted to share that word with y'all where it says, hey, my confidence is this. And this is where David literally just talking to God, because he having one of those moments. Because David was a depressed man, but David was a man after God's own heart. We know David, the same David who slayed Goliath, right? The same man that his divine destiny was for him to slay Goliath. And he had to be prepared in seasons before that, right? David had to be prepared before that, where he had to, I'm sure he was in seasons where, as if you know about David, he was a shepherd. He was a sheep. He had to tend to his father's sheep at one point in season in his life. So his dad overlooked him. His dad didn't really give him probably didn't give him the affirmation and the affection and the attention and approval that he needed. He had to get it from a prophet named Samuel, right? That had to come to him and anoint him with oil to let him know that he's the next king. So just imagine all before that, before knowing like, okay, you're the one, let me anoint your head. And the Lord had to put his power and spirit in David at that point. But let's talk about before that. David just out there tending to his father's sheep. And that's all that his dad probably all thought of him at that time. But yes, David was young too, but still he had his other brothers. He was the youngest of 7, I want to say 7 or 8. So yeah. Just imagine all the other brothers already out doing their thing. They're probably out there handling their business. They living their life, feeling like they living a life worthy of their calling, because they were soldiers in fighting with Saul. I don't know if all the brothers were, but some of them were. So David at one point in time, his father told him, look, I need you to send some food to your brothers and deliver this message to your brothers. So, again, David, I'm sure in that season, when you just look at that story and try to envision and visualize his life before he actually became king, I'm sure he just had rough moments, or probably had thoughts too, like, man, am I just going to be tending to these sheep for the rest of my life? Just having that waiting season of that in between of you're not where you was, you're getting older, you're maturing, but you're still not where you want to be. So we have to sometimes think of the people in the Bible and try to visualize their story and visualize what they could have been. I'm sure they was going through the same things emotionally. So I said all of that to say David here he is just having a candid, honest talk with God. And that's what I also encourage us family believers, like talk to God, talk to him. He knows what you're going through. So ain't no point in hiding nothing. Be honest and just have that conversation with God, because he's our friend. So get what? Talk to God like, okay, God, look, this is what I'm feeling right now. God, like what is going, like talk to God, talk to your friend. Talk to the one who created us. Talk to our creator. So this book of Psalms, David is literally crying out, just spilling his emotions, being straight up with God. And so it says here where, do not let me fall into their hands, because basically he's just talking to God about, his enemies and all of that. So David did not mind seeking God about everything. And that's another thing I want to encourage you all in wherever you at in your journey, entrepreneurs, parents, if you're a career person, you're out there pursuing your calling, whatever it is you got going on in any given point in your life, wherever you are and whatever season you're in. Listen, you got to have those conversations and those honest talks with God and just, tell him how you feel. So anyway, David was just basically talking about what he was going through in that moment of dealing with his enemies and things like that. He says, teach me how to live, O Lord. Lead me along the right path, for my enemies are waiting for me. And this is chapter 27 book of Psalms, and I'm starting at 11. And so it says, for our enemies are waiting for me. And then it says, do not let me fall into their hands, for they accuse me of things I've never done. So basically the Lord like, look, God, come on now, lead me along the right path. My enemies, they're accusing me of things I didn't did. Oh gosh, they accuse me of things I didn't do. Forgive me. And he just saying, teach me how to live. I've had that same cry several times, like, God, teach me, God. I know your word says that, I need to train my kids up in the way that they should go. But Lord, I'm asking you to train me up in the way that I should go, because I'm still your child at this point. I might be on this earth. I'm a mature grown woman that got kids and got my own place. But Lord, I'm still your child. So train me in the way that I should go. Teach me so I can do things in the right way. So basically, this is David now. This is the David that slayed Goliath, is having these candid conversations with God, saying, look, Lord, train me. Teach me in the way that I need to go. And he's basically saying, lead me along the right path. So David basically saying, God, I need your help. The same David that slayed Goliath, the same famous person in the story that we all talk about when it comes to sharing stories of people who are heroes, all right? Heroes of the Bible. So David would be one of them. He's a man after God's own heart. So he basically just pouring out his feelings, right? Saying, look, don't let me fall into their hands. Don't allow these people to win. Don't allow the enemies to be successful and succeed in how they're doing me and what they're doing to me. So he like, God, I need you. And then he still turned around and said, yet my confidence is this: I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. So let me stop right there with that word, because that's a verse that I had to learn. I had to take in. I had to hone it. I had to hoard those verses. And I will say about this Bible, y'all, when you become mature and you are intentional about being and spiritually inclined and understanding the Bible and becoming biblically inclined, you will understand that you need this Bible to help you get through in life. Before I had become this driven and eager to understand and learn the word for myself, it was hard for me to get through certain things in life because I didn't know any better. But when you learn that, man, this Bible really is the source, and it ain't, man, that's the only thing I do have sometimes to lean on is the word and talking to God to get me through. So, but anyway, as you read the Bible and you learn these things, some things you take with you when you go through certain situations, you know where to look at to get the encouragement to help you stand up and get that energy that you need. Just like how, physically in the world, your lack of energy, you're tired, you feel in a certain way, you need that rest to re-energize. You might need to drink fluids to be re-energized. The Bible is spiritually what energizes you and should lift you back up, right? So basically David just being honest, but he stopped after he was saying, Lord, don't let the enemies do this to me. Lead me, God. Show me along the right path for my enemies there who are waiting for me to do this to me and do that to me. I need your help. Lead me along the right path. But he still said, yet my confidence is this: I will see the Lord's goodness while I am here in the land of the living. And listen, I done had to say, I pray that all the time. I pray every day. Lately, I pray every day. Okay. It's very important. You need to be praying every single day. Your prayer life need to be on 100. You need to be praying at all times in the spirit, straight up. You just need to, bottom line, be praying as much as possible. So anyway, that's part of my daily prayer. I say that all the time. Lord, I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, because we are going through a lot. Family believers, we are being attacked on every side. We're going through much. Like it says, we will, in this life, we will face many trials, but be of good cheer, for I've overcome the world. So the Lord is telling you, the Bible, the word, which is there to encourage you. The word is there to help you when you or teach you when you're doing wrong, to show you how to do right. So that word is there to and it equips you, right? It equips us, his people, to do every good work. It equips you. So you need this word. So when it says, Lord, I shall see the goodness of the Lord right here, while I'm here in the land of the living, that means right here in this land of opportunity. I know we have heaven ahead of us. We have that other realm of life that we go to once we leave here. But Lord, this is where I'm at right now, God. So I shall see the goodness of, this is a decree. That means David is declaring, he's proclaiming, he's announcing right now how he's feeling. I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Right. And so to me, that sounds like, God, I want to see all the good things that you planned for me long ago, right here in this land of opportunity. And so he obviously had to say that because he was going through something emotionally. So I said that to say, family of believers, people out there who's trying to pursue their calling. You feel like God has called you to something and you're out there, you're thinking you're pursuing it, you're putting in the work, or you're making steps, but it seems like you're not getting anywhere. You're still in that waiting season. You're still feel like you're not where you want to be. So you have those moments where the attacks is going to come. The devil is going to find every way to get at you in your thoughts and feed you all kind of negative things. So you have to, in that moment where it says stand firm and resist the devil in these evil days. So these are times where you make these declarations and you say these certain specific things from the word. Like David said, Lord, yes, my confidence is this. I'm confident that even though right now I'm struggling emotionally, right now, Lord, I need your help because my enemies are against me. They're threatening me with violence. They're doing, and I don't want them to succeed against me, God. And I'm your child. So yes, even though I'm feeling that way and I need your help, I'm still confident, God, that you're going to bring me through. You're going to do this for me. And I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I will see all the good things my faith has prompted me to do. All the things that you have put in my heart, have touched my spirit and placed in me that I'm seeing for me. I want to see it here while I'm alive, right here in this land of the living. This is where I want to see that profit. This is where I want to see that elevation up for myself. This is where I want to see that I flourished right here in this land of the living. This is where I want to see where I succeed and my children succeed, that you will cause me to flourish, both me and my children, in the land of the living. And this is what David is saying. And then so after that, it says, wait patiently for the Lord. Be brave and courageous. Yes, wait patiently for the Lord. So it says, yes, my confidence is this, that I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. So I'll just talk about that piece just a little bit. So where it says that, it says, you still got to wait patiently on God with these things. Yes, we might want what we want so bad right now today. We want to blink our eyes and already be where we want to be at in life. We want what we want so bad. So sometimes our flesh, when that happens, we have that flesh now that is trying to do its part, right? Where with our flesh, we want certain things. We want those worldly things. We want to conform. We want to answer to our flesh. And we know that our flesh is not going to want good things. So in this moment, when you've grown to be more spiritually inclined, you've drawn closer to God, you've delved more further into understanding the word, we understand that our spirit needs to be bigger than our flesh. We need to make sure that our spirit is governing over and having the authority over our flesh, because our flesh doesn't want good things. Our flesh is seeking out things that entice us with evil desires, right? But the spirit wants what God wants. Our spirit wants to do good things, but the flesh and the spirit is what battles, and it's all in us. So yes, God understands we're still going to make these mistakes because the flesh is a part of us. We didn't ask for that. God created us with that. But as you grow and you intentionally want to move forward and drawing closer to God, you understand that you have to answer to that spirit. Let that spirit obey the spirit. You have to obey the spirit and let your spirit have that authority to govern over your flesh, right? To arrest that flesh and tell your flesh to sit back, because I know I want some things, but I have to yield to God's design, God's timing. Not my will, but thy will. So that will be the spirit then talking and leading you, right? To do right things, to make the better decision. Because if you let your flesh allow you to make decisions, it ain't going to be good decisions. It's going to be decisions that do not please God. But when you answer and obey your spirit, it leads you to make better decisions that pleases the Lord. Right? So as we understand, we got to wait patiently on God when we're going through these dry seasons, through these seasons where, like for me right now, I got some things that I got in my heart and that I'm planning, right? But many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that will prevail. So once you do understand that, you learn in that perspective in life that when you are pursuing things, God leads, God guides, and you have to yield to his timing. You have to yield to his design. design. So if things aren't working out right now for you, maybe it's not time yet. Maybe God is still preparing you, perfecting you. Maybe God is shielding you from some stuff. So maybe it's a reason why you ain't got what you wanted yet. Because maybe God is protecting you from something that you don't need. God is going to give us what we need. But sometimes the flesh and when we want what we want so bad, we fall into that where, that waiting is hard. Waiting is hard to do when we have to feel like we got to wait on what we really want. So where it says, wait patiently for the Lord, be strong and take heart. Obviously that means it's a barn burner waiting and trying to be patient, trying to understand that you're going to have tests and trials, trying to understand that it takes preparation to get where you are, mastery and developing yourself, improving yourself. It takes time. And we don't want that. We want to rush. We want it so bad. That's our flesh, which if we answer to the flesh, then that leads to bad outcomes or decisions or outcomes that are not going to be good. That could lead to something that can change the trajectory of our life when we let our flesh lead. But we learn to let our spirit lead and guide. We understand we got to be patient. We got to be strong and take heart. Wait patiently for the Lord. That means understand that you need to wait on God and wait in his timing. And then it says, be strong and take heart. That means it is a barn burner, but you got to be strong in the Lord and say, you know what? Obviously, it ain't working out right now because it's not supposed to. But know that you still need God. That means seek God in everything. Seek out to God, pray to God, cry out to God. Ask him to help you. And know that you have to rely on God and not in your own human effort. So where it says to be brave and courageous, that means while you're going through what you're going through, you're patiently enduring the testing, the trials, the temptations, the waiting season, whatever you're experiencing right now. Be brave and courageous through it. That means fight the good fight. Learn in those moments, hold on to that word, what the word said, where it says to fight that good fight of the true faith. And where it says, or learn where the word told you, learn those promises of God and hold on to it. Where the Lord promises that he'll never leave you or forsake you. And that the word says all things work together for the good of those who love him. So if it ain't working right now, it means God is still working. We may not see it, but he's still working the things together for the good of those who love him. So if you know that you are a true follower of God and you're determined to draw near and close to God, where the word says, when you draw near to God, he will draw near to you. So if you do know that you're a child of God, so when you're working through these moments, working through these seasons of waiting, when you're just in that dry season, jaded season, it's boring. You're like, I ain't got no action going on right now. I'm just not getting anywhere. What is going on? Hey, you got to still arrest that flesh, answer to the spirit, seek God, wait patiently on God, because again, his purpose prevails. Seek God for guidance and leadership. All right. And so it just says, yes, wait on the Lord. He said that twice. Be patient, patiently wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart. Yes, wait patiently on the Lord. And that's just what I want to encourage. Like I said earlier today, I had a bit of a moment where I had to kind of cry it out because I'm just like, God, you know my heart's desires. My heart's desires have not changed, God. And this is me just being honest with God. Like, look, the things that I've been wanting before, even though in my former self, I had a bit of selfish ambitions. I was kind of living the way I wanted to live. And that road led me to some, straight disappointment and just being bitter, angry, full of rage because life didn't go how I wanted it to go. So my former self, though, when I was kind of going through what I went through, I didn't understand that, it's in God's timing. I didn't yield to God's design. And I didn't understand about arresting my flesh and just leaning into my spirit, letting my spirit guide me and waiting patiently on God. Meaning, okay, it's not working out right now, God, because obviously it's not time yet. So God, but help me so that I continue to be eager and zealous in this journey of waiting. So that's what I just wanted to encourage you, family believers, out there, especially, like I said, me, someone that's trying to pursue certain things, trying to carry out my calling, carrying out my ministry, where the word says we are ministers of the new covenant, and God expects us to carry out the ministry that he has given each and every one of us, that we need to get out there and pursue that. We need to get out there and deploy our gifts into the land, right? So as I'm literally genuinely trying to pursue that, it's still in God's timing. So I still got to do my part. I still got to put in the action that makes my faith complete. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to get there in the time that I want to get there. So this is the part where we got to practice, family believers, practice being patient, practice seeking God, practice allowing your flesh to be bigger. Allowing your spirit to be bigger than your flesh. So these are the moments where you do have to practice. That's why the word says train to be godly. Practice is like cousins. When you're training, you're pretty much practicing. So you practicing in these moments. So this right now, because it was rough for me earlier, but I felt like, I ended up overcoming it quicker than I used to. Because again, before, when I was my former self, I took stuff hard. I took these defeated moments very, very hard, and it held me for a while. I was bound by those things for a while. But I get through it better now. So I know obviously I'm better than I was. I'm not where I used to be spiritually, in my spiritual, with that spiritual intelligence, with that emotional intelligence, which we have to improve that. We got to develop those things. We got to develop our emotional intelligence. We got to develop our spiritual intelligence. We got to develop that leadership intelligence. We got to develop the relational intelligence. Those are those things, those areas that need to be developed by continuing to seek God, read that word, getting that counsel from other people that we trust their word, that you can tell they are children of God, and the words that they speak are powerful in its meaning, and you can back it up by the word. So of course, you got a lot of leaders out there, a lot of false teachers out there that just out there greedy for money, or greedy or doing it out of envy, trying to compare themselves, or trying to do it out of envy and popularity, right? Trying to consider themselves teachers and preachers. So we got a lot of false people out there are doing things not for the right intentions, right? So, but we back it up what they're saying by the word. That's why you got to delve into the word for yourself, and not just holding on to what somebody else is telling you. You seek God for yourself, and God will reveal these things to you as he decides to do that. But you seeking it for yourself. So when we are getting that counsel that we do need, it's okay to get that counsel and insight from people that we can say that we can trust their word and their leadership and and what they're trying to teach us. But we back that up, because again, we don't just hold on to what they're saying. We back it up by the word ourselves. Evaluate and examine what they're saying by the word, with the word. And if it doesn't match up or doesn't match to what God's word is saying, then okay, this is not a leader that I need to be following. But anyway, I just wanted to encourage that because I just have my rough moments, but this is where we practice, we train to be godly, and we just lean in to the word. Because I'm telling you, the word is what has helped me literally lately in my life. And I encourage you to delve into the word, the Bible, the word of God, where the Bible again is inspired by God. And so you want to lean into that so you can hear from God, right? He'll have his own way that he speaks to you, but you lean into that so you can learn in moments like I did earlier, where I had a rough moment. I had a moment where I was emotionally down, but I can tell that I've been leaning into the word and drawing near to God, because I overcame that emotion faster than what I would have before, when I was living to please the world and I wasn't drawing near to God. I can see where there are times where God is obviously communicating with me, where before I didn't get that communication because I was cut off from God before, right? So that's why all of these things are important. So when you do go through these hardships, those rough moments, those times that are inevitable, it doesn't mean that none of the calamities and the hardships and suffering is going to stop because you seek God and learn the word, because Satan is going to still do his part. So, but it just means that you get through those moments better because you understand it better, and you learn more because you learn the word, and the word is helping you and teaching you. And you literally, at times, the word is all you do have to get you through. It's literally been times where I had no choice but to go back to a word in the Bible to say, all right, God, your word said this. I need this to be evidence right now for me right now. So I just wanted to just share that and encourage you all, family believers, that, sometimes it's rough in this life. We'll face many trials, right? But be of good cheer. And I know that it's not always easy to do that. It's not always easy. And that's why the word is saying that, because apparently it's going to be some attacks that's going to attack that and make your road rough. But we keep on fighting this good fight. And I encourage you to just praise through it, even when you don't feel like it. Earlier, I did not feel like it, but I made it my business, still just dropped to my knees. And in that moment, it was like I said, in this moment, I got to drop to my knees and pray and still praise God and thank God in spite of, even if, and that's what my prayer was while I was crying on my knees, because I just had a defeated moment. I just felt like, I'm just not where I want to be. What is going on, God? Everything is silent. But I said, you know what? Maybe the silence is good. Maybe God is asking me to be silent and stop trying to think that I can do everything. Well, that I have control over how things is going to come, because God is in control of the outcomes anyway. So I had to think about that. And so that came over me. But those things probably would not have happened if I hadn't learned to draw close to God and learn to know when to receive the word of God and when it needs to be received and all of that. I wouldn't have known that if my life was who I was before. So I can tell that I got over that moment earlier, but I still had it. And we're not going to get away from those moments. So again, I just wanted to wrap everything up. You're going to have those emotional moments. You're going to have those moments that you're angry, frustrated, hurt, disappointed, sad, mad, and feel through it. It's okay to feel that way. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to run from it. Hey, let that feeling out, but don't allow it to cause you to sin or do anything wrong. But it's okay to feel that way, and it's okay to tell God you feeling that way. But when you do, again, you look back to the word, you delve into that word, use that word to help you get through, and you praise God through it, pray through it anyway. Even when you don't feel like it, pray anyway. Even when you don't feel like it, praise God anyway. Even when you don't feel like it, thank God anyway. And then that's what I've learned to do, and I'm going to do it anyway. Because my new journey after the Lord he himself has given me another chance, right? Because I know I'm not where I was. I ain't my former self. I sure ain't. I'm not the person I used to be. So I got to thank God for him showing that to me, that he's my father. So I have to take that and I say, you know what? I have to dedicate myself and my decisions in my life and to being intentional about carefully determining what pleases God, living in a way that pleases God. So I'm more intentional about all of that. So I've said to myself, like, regardless even if I still don't get what I want, right? I still have to be willing to serve the Lord. In this house, I will serve God, even if, in spite of what I want. So it is thy will, God's will be done and not mine. So even if I don't get what I want, just even Jesus said, Lord, if it's up to you, God, or I'm asking you if you could just take this cup from me. That means this burden from me. But nonetheless, your will be done. And you know what Jesus went through. So who are we that we ain't going to go through some stuff? So even if things don't go the way I want, and sure, I want a lot of things right now. I want to blink my eyes, open my eyes, and be doing a lot of things that I just want right now. But nonetheless, Father, even when it hurts, even when I'm hurting right now, even when I'm disappointed, even when I'm crying inside, because I'm just looking at other people looking successful, looking at other people looking like they just, man, boy, they just looking like they on a whole nother level of success and they're just happy and all of that. Even when I see that, and it just, brings me to reality of my situation, even in spite of, Father, nevertheless, your will be done. And I have to learn and grow into that and train to be godly. And that's a part of training, to yield to God in that. And yield my flesh and arrest it and just say, you know what? Even though I want this, God, nonetheless, your will be done. So I just wanted to encourage you, family believers, about that, and just still keep on fighting a good fight. You know, whatever it is, what you're going through, whatever it is, if you're pursuing your calling, right? You're pursuing living a life worthy of your calling. It ain't gonna be easy. So I just wanted to encourage you all that to know that you're not alone, and to keep on fighting a good fight, keep on praying. And as the word said, my confidence is this: I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Keep on saying that. Let that be a daily part of your prayer and the word to God. I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, God. That means I want to see all the good things, and all the good things my faith prompted me to do, and all the good things you planned for me long ago, right here while I am here on this land. I want to see it right here in the land of the living. But wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. All right. So thank y'all for tuning in with me. You know, I'm going to come on again, and I'm just glad I got this out, because I just wanted to share it with somebody. I also wanted to just have this talk. I'm having a talk even with myself, because this is for me. This is for me to encourage myself and to encourage others, and just to let God know that God, even though I had a moment earlier, I'm glad that you helped me to get myself together. That I was almost could have gotten beside myself with my emotions, but Lord, thank you for that growth in emotional intelligence, where I can take a moment to bring to the awareness, bring to the forefront, bring to my consciousness, being aware of my emotions, being aware of my motives, being aware of my feelings, my decisions, being aware of my character. So we have to bring that to our consciousness, right? So we can evaluate and examine ourselves when we are going through this. So that when you do have these emotional situations, because it will happen, you have learned, you're being trained, developed, and you're improving how to deal with certain things, and how to react and how to respond when you have those emotions that, again, you cannot elude. You can't escape those emotions, but you have a way that you can deal with it and react, so that it doesn't lead to negative outcomes. All right. So again, thank you for tuning in with me. Lord willing, I will be doing this again. You can always still follow look at some of my other past pop-ups, where I'm just giving a word. You can also follow me on my YouTube channels with my pop-up Bible studies and the Bible studies that I've had with my girls. So you can follow go to my YouTube channel, Godly Models TV. And also, you can follow me right here on Instagram at Christian Adorn, and just check out all of my past Bible studies, and just share. I'm just here to share this journey with you all, to let you know that I'm willing to be transparent about everything, and just trying to give an encouraging word. So again, thank you all so much. Till next time, y'all. It's hot in here. I know I'm sweating right up in this area, right up in here, because I was doing a lot of talking. Because when I talk serious. All right, family believers, I will catch you all next time. Take care.